Hey everyone, my name is Sean, and this is my very own blockbuster. What's going on, everybody? My name is Sean, and today I'm doing something that I actually took inspiration from Cody Leach, who is a movie YouTuber. He does like a 31 on 31 every Halloween, so I thought it would be cool if I did my own interpretation of that. So essentially, I watched 31 movies in 31 days. I completely randomized what movies I am watching, but they had to be either fall themed or Halloween scary kind of thing. So I did completely random. This is what happened, and yeah, I am here to rank them for you. So coming in last place, very much last place, is I Married a Vampire. This was one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. The budget was non-existent, so I can't really fault them for that, but the acting was atrocious. The story was boring. There's really only a vampire in the last 20 minutes of the film, and it wasn't scary. It wasn't fun. It was boring and awful, and I don't recommend it to anybody. Number 30 is Halloween Resurrection, my least favorite Halloween film in the franchise. Busta Rhymes making stupid one-liners, Laurie Strode being in the film for literally 10 minutes, not even, and Michael Myers being stupid, and the film was not good. So I don't recommend this one either. Next up is Blade Trinity. This one was also pretty awful. Wesley Snipes, he does a good job as Blade, but the story wasn't great. The characters weren't great. The villains were awful. So I don't recommend this one either. It is my least favorite of the Blade franchise. That being said, I do think I like it more than most people. I grew up with the Blade franchise, and Blade Trinity was actually the only one I owned for the longest time. So I do like this one, but I can understand why people wouldn't. And when I say I like this one, I kind of like it. Not really, though. Next up is the Child's Play remake. This was not great. It was one of my least favorites in the Chucky franchise. The only one below this would be Cult. But yeah, I mean, you had Aubrey Plaza, which kind of saved the movie for me, but Chucky's design was awful. The kills were only okay. The story wasn't great. Mark Hamill did a pretty good job, but he's no Brad Dourif, so it's all right. I mean, I recommend it if you are a huge Chucky fan and if you haven't seen it, but other than that, just skip this one. Next up is Cat's Eye. So I have this DVD 4-pack of Stephen King films, and the one that was randomized was Cat's Eye with little Drew Barrymore. I really wanted to like this more than I did. The anthology of this film had 3 short stories, basically. You had James Woods, who wanted to quit smoking. Okay. There's like a little goblin creature that terrorizes Drew Barrymore's character. Fine. The cat is in all of them, which I guess the cat connecting all 3 stories was pretty cool. But other than that, it's kind of a skippable movie. It's not my favorite Stephen King adaptation by any means. It's fine. It's not one I highly recommend. Next up, we have Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. Now, I actually grew up with this one, so if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, I do recommend this film. It hasn't aged perfectly. I enjoyed it a lot when I was a kid, seeing all of the classic Universal monsters racing Shaggy and Scooby, Shaggy turning into a werewolf. Good stuff for kids. I loved it as a kid. As an adult, it was kind of boring, it wasn't perfect. So do I recommend this? Yes, for a Scooby-Doo fan, hardcore fan, and especially if you have kids, watch this with them around the Halloween season. I think they'll really enjoy it. Next up on the list is Critters. I liked this movie. I didn't love it. Dee Wallace is in this, you know, the mom from E.T., and she did a good job. And the little boy in this film, he did a really good job as well. He's actually Malarkey in Band of Brothers. So he did a good job, but you know, other than that, it was fine. The design of the critters are fine. They're not super scary or anything. But it was a fun sci-fi horror film, you know, like not one I would go back to all the time, but it was pretty good. Next up is a childhood favorite, Casper. This one I've always loved as a kid. I watched it for the first time as an adult for this 31 and 31, and I liked it. I didn't love it. Christina Ricci is good in this, as is Bill Pullman. But, you know, it was fine. Like, it was one that I would definitely watch with my kids in the future, but not one that I would pop in all the time as an adult. Next up, we have Hannibal. Now, I wanted to love this movie. Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite films ever made. And, you know, Ridley Scott directed this. Anthony Hopkins is back in the lead role. But it just wasn't the same, was it? It was kind of meh. Julianne Moore is no Clarice Starling, in my opinion. That is Jodie Foster all the way. Ray Liotta was fine. You know, that's the problem with this. It was fine. It wasn't great, and I recommend it if you're a hardcore Hannibal fan, like of the character Hannibal Lecter. But to me, it was good, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more out of this. And after that, we have Black Sabbath. This was a good anthology film. You know, it's a Mario Bava film, so it was an Italian horror movie, and it's I don't think this is a Hammer horror movie, but it gave me that vibe for sure. But yeah, if you like old school horror, I think you might dig this one. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I did have fun with it. Next up, we have a very underrated film. We have Psycho 4. Psycho 4 is underrated. I actually really liked the portrayals in this film, especially I can't remember her name right now, but the woman who played Mother in this movie, she did a fantastic job. So don't sleep on Psycho 4. I think you might enjoy it. Then we have Scooby-Doo, the live action. So I actually grew up with this one. This is one of the most watched films for me personally. I used to have it on VHS. My brother and I would watch it every year. We would watch it on YTV, you know, on cable. We would watch the VHS all the time. And I mean, the casting here is stellar. Matthew Lillard as Shaggy is perfect. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Linda Cardellini, all such great casting choices. So yeah, I mean, it didn't age perfectly. I don't think this is objectively a great movie, but my nostalgia for it bumps it up quite a bit because, like I said, this is one of the most rewatched films for me ever. So Scooby-Doo. And then we have one that I think a lot of people will be upset with me for not having higher, Midsommar. So this film was crazy. It was absolutely bonkers. The portrayal of Florence Pugh, she did a good job. It was just so much. Like it was hard to watch. It was draining. It was just absolutely bonkers. And if you're into that, cool. Am I into that? It depends on my mood, but I think Midsommar, I think it was good, but it's not one I will go back to very often. So I know a lot of people adore this movie. For me, it was good, but it's not near the top of this list. And then next up, we have Death Becomes Her. This was a fun movie starring Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn. My wife and I watched this together, and we had a good time with it. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen this one. It's a cult classic from the 90s, and Robert Zemeckis directs this one, who also directed Back to the Future, obviously. So, yeah, check it out if you're into comedy horror with some musical elements. I think you'll enjoy this one. And next we have Phantasm. I actually like this one even more this time around. I have seen the original Phantasm once. This time I actually liked it more, and the effects in this film are great. The 80s music is phenomenal, and the characters were portrayed really well by some unknown actors. So I would definitely check out Phantasm if you haven't already. Then we have Trick or Treat, another cult classic from the 80s. If you're into heavy metal, rock and roll style music, you will love this movie. The actors did a good job. It was very cool seeing Ozzy Osbourne in this, R.I.P. And yeah, if you're into horror, music, and there's even some 80s high school vibes to this, I think you'll really dig it. And next up, we have Scars of Dracula. This is a Hammer horror classic. This was a first-time watch for me, so I'm super happy to say that I really enjoyed this one. Christopher Lee as Dracula. This is one of his best Dracula interpretations. So if you haven't checked out Scars of Dracula, I think you'll really dig it, especially if you know what Hammer horror is and you really like it. Check this one out. Next up is Hocus Pocus, an all-time Halloween classic. I used to watch this all the time as a kid on the Family Channel. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said about Hocus Pocus. The three sisters here, they did such a good job in this. And yeah, this is one that I can't wait to show my kids in the future, and one that I will watch pretty much every Halloween season. So Hocus Pocus is great. Next up, we have Cobra, okay? Cobra is fantastic. It's not as horror as I expected. There are some slasher vibes to this, but for the most part, this is an action film. I freaking love this movie. Stallone is peak Stallone here. Crime is the disease. Stallone is the cure, and this movie was fantastic. And the 4K transfer from Arrow was incredible, so check out Cobra. Next up, we have The Mist, Stephen King's The Mist. The ending of this film was never spoiled for me, and this was a first-time watch, so that was something. I don't really want to go too much into this film because it was a trip. If you haven't seen The Mist, check it out. The CGI doesn't hold up, but the performances are fantastic. So is the story. So I loved this movie. The ending was hard to watch, but it was really well done, and I think you'll really enjoy it. This is also the same director as Shawshank and The Green Mile, Frank Darabont. So check out The Mist if you haven't. Then we have the original Dawn of the Dead. So this is George A. Romero's classic 80s zombie film. This was also a first-time watch for me. I really enjoyed it. Was it better than Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead? Yes, to me it was. And yeah, this is just an all-time classic that I feel every horror fan should watch. I was a late bloomer, but I did really enjoy it. And the transfer here, I think this is Second Sight. They did a great job. So check out Dawn of the Dead. Then we have An American Werewolf in London. This is a fantastic werewolf movie. Probably my favorite one, to be honest. John Landis directed the hell out of this movie. This is horror. This is comedy. This is drama. This is romance. This film is fantastic. You don't really have to be a horror fan to enjoy this movie. It helps, obviously, with some of the gruesome stuff in here, but that werewolf transformation scene, that's like the best transformation of a werewolf caught on film ever. How they did it, I'm still not 100% sure, but fantastic 80s horror movie. Check it out. Then we have the original Candyman. Now, this was a first-time watch for me just a couple years ago, and I was floored at how much I enjoyed this. And watching it a second time, I liked it even more. Tony Todd as Candyman is just all-time. The other performances here are great. The story is fantastic. You know, it's like FBI meets horror. There's just so many things that I liked about this movie. It kind of reminded me of like a Seven vibe, you know, where it's like crime as well as horror, and Silence of the Lambs. So check out Candyman if you haven't seen it. I think you'll really enjoy it. Then we have Shaun of the Dead. This is a great horror comedy by the legendary Edgar Wright. Simon Pegg is at top form here, and Shaun of the Dead has always been one that I keep close to my heart because me and my best friend, we love to talk Edgar Wright, and Shaun of the Dead is one of our favorites. So if you haven't seen it already, go watch it. Then we have A Quiet Place. This is another film that I hold close to my heart because this was the very first movie that I took my then girlfriend, now wife, to go see in the theater. She's not super into horror, but she actually does love this movie. It's a fun creature feature directed by Jim Halpert himself, John Krasinski, with Emily Blunt, and it's just a very, very fun, well, not fun, but very well done creature feature. Yeah, you want to not eat some popcorn while you watch this one because you got to pay close attention and listen to everything that's happening. So, A Quiet Place, check it out. Next up, we have Ghostbusters, the original 1984 classic with Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. This movie is just so incredible. Sigourney Weaver does a good job in this. Yeah, I will praise this movie every single day if I could. It's one that I grew up with. It's one that I absolutely love. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is one of the greatest scenes in film history. Yeah, check out Ghostbusters. I'm sure 99.9% of you have, but if you haven't, it's one of the all-time greats, and check it out. Then we have Fright Night. Fright Night is another 80s classic that I absolutely love. One of my favorite vampire films ever made. Charlie here is great, as is the main villain himself. I'm drawing a blank at his name, but the practical effects here are phenomenal. I love how it's like an 80s and like 50s, 60s Hammer vibe. Everything about this movie is so much fun, and I could watch this every year if I could. Fright Night is a must. Coming in at number 4, we have Frailty. This was a first-time watch for me last year, and it blew my mind. Frailty is phenomenal. Bill Paxton directs the hell out of this movie, and he stars in it as well. Matthew McConaughey is so good in this as well. If you haven't checked out Frailty, check it out. I know lots of movie YouTubers and influencers tell people to watch Frailty. They aren't wrong. Watch it. It's fantastic. From 2001. You won't regret it if you haven't seen it. Number 3, we have a childhood classic that I would watch every year around Halloween, and that is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is absolutely amazing. Michael Keaton's portrayal of him is fantastic. You got Gina Davis, you got Alec Baldwin, Winona Ryder, phenomenal cast, Catherine O'Hara, and then you got Tim Burton directing. The practical effects here are fantastic. The story here is fantastic. Everything about this movie, I can't recommend enough. I'm sure most of you have seen this. If not, what are you doing? Go watch Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's best film. Coming in, number 2, The Exorcist. Now, this film is terrifying. It is not a film that I would watch a ton because of how gruesome and disturbing this movie is. But man, is it ever good. The portrayals here of all the characters are phenomenal. The story is good. The direction from William Friedkin is unbelievable. The Exorcist is a must-watch, a horror classic from 1973. Check it out if you haven't. This steelbook is fantastic, and the 4K transfer is even better. So check out The Exorcist. And coming in at number 1, arguably my favorite horror film ever made. It's a toss-up between this and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Scream. Wes Craven's original 1996 Scream. I love everything about this movie. Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore at the beginning. Everything about this movie is fantastic. I love the character of Ghostface. I love the comedy horror vibes in this. The fact that they're making fun of the horror genre within a horror film. Unbelievable. Genius, ahead of its time. Scream, if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it right now for Halloween. You won't regret it. And that's it. That's 31 and 31, 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, that was complete random. So I ranked random films that I randomly picked, and that's what came up. I'm probably going to do this again next year. It was super fun. If you guys like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, the whole thing. And thanks, everybody. Happy Halloween.